Welcome to the Biz Gone Social podcast. We help entrepreneurs navigate how to get known, get customers, and get the edge over their competition. Here is your host, Lorraine Duncan.
So here we are with episode 54, and I'm actually so glad to be here. And my promise to you, as always, is I want to give you a little bit of verbal caffeine that's going to energize your business, energize your social media marketing, and help you stay social. After all, don't you want to be the business that everyone's talking about? Because I know I do. And I am absolutely so stoked to have a very, very special guest on my show today, the one and only JoEllen Lindstrom.
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And why are you like a special guest for me is not only are you an amazing business owner, but you are also my daughter. So I'm so lucky to have you because you have been so busy and you've been busy about business and that I'm so proud of you. And so what I want to ask you, tell the audience a little bit about your business and what you do.
Yeah. So, well, first off, yes, I did happen to marry your son. So maybe you're a little bit biased, but that's okay. Yeah. So I own my own video production company. And, well, we do more than just video, but video photography. I help connect people with graphic design and stuff like that. But I'd say probably primarily we are video production. So, I just started that. It's somewhat of a new endeavor, although I have been doing video production for years now. I haven't really been doing it that much independently. I've worked for other people in the past. I'm stepping out kind of in a new journey to do more independent work. And so far it's been good, I'd say.
Yeah, that's awesome. I get to see some of your more creative videos when on like Instagram, when you put them up or you're in your stories. Yeah. And you do definitely have a knack for creativity. So let me just tell you, that is what's really important today is that anybody can put a video up, but will people watch it and will it be meaningful to, the business that you're working for?
Right.
So it's interesting. You have a website and you have a Facebook page for your company, and the name of your business is Common Kindred. So tell me a little bit about that name and why you chose it.
Sure. So there's kind of like I guess I'll try to condense it to make it short, but the gist of it is the word kindred has always meant a lot to me because my personality is very much, I like to connect with people. I like to go deep with people. I like to feel that connection with another person. And so for me as someone who's in video production and who's a creative, I like to feel that same connection with my clients. And so that's kind of how I got the kindred part of that is just basically connecting with having that deep connection with my clients, that they trust me, that they understand that I'm for them and not against them, that I have creative ideas. And the common part of that, common kindred part of the title is just the fact that we're all on an equal playing field. We're all in this together. We're all just normal people trying to make stuff for the world. It's kind of that's kind of the story behind the title, I guess, if that answers your question.
It does. And you have, the concept is very well thought of, I would say, is it's important. There's a long time ago quote out there that people will do business with whom they know, like, and trust. And that's said way too often in the business world. And so many people say it, but do they really mean it? And one of the things that I know for me is that when because I do social media marketing, one of the things for me is to be able to portray someone in their voice. And you kind of got the easy side of that because you can portray it in video.
Right.
And you have not just a voice there, but you have, a person acting out or a certain slant of a story. Mm-hmm. And we all know, I mean, I'm sure this is like stories, they sell. People listen to stories, people can connect to stories. And because you're saying, that kindred, that connection piece, how is it that when you're doing your video projects, if somebody's not used to being on video, mm-hmm. They're a little bit stiff, or how do you bring out that connection piece in the video?
It's very true that a lot of people feel uncomfortable in front of the camera, or a lot of times I'll actually get projects that are already recorded and I'll just do editing for people because they don't want to have to deal with the editing side of things, but they don't mind filming. So, no, it's really funny because to me, it's not like awkward or weird at all to be on camera or to be filmed because I'm used to it, because a lot of times I'm in my own projects or in other friends' projects. But I understand that uncomfortable feeling, and I can try to empathize a lot with my clients and the people that I'm working with. I just try to tell people that, like, there's a lot I can do in editing. So if they mess up or they goof up, like, it's not the end of the world. And I'd rather have another big part of something that I prioritize in my work and that I just kind of value, I guess, would be just authenticity and like a rawness. So I don't even really mind, especially if it's like documentary type of stuff or whatnot. I don't mind like a couple a couple slip ups, because it reminds the audience that we're human and that we're not robots and we're not perfect. So that's kind of, I try to kind of slant that story a little bit towards my clients, and usually it goes over well, and they loosen up a little bit and feel like they can be themselves.
Yeah, I remember my very first video shoot where I was the subject, and I realized that I had too many things to memorize, that like there was like not, it was like, mm-hmm. It was scripted because I was teaching. And finally the videographer said to me, it's okay, you can pause, because I can cut that pause out.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it made me feel so comfortable. Mm-hmm. But, there's so much going on, as I'm in the social media world, and your videos will probably, for a lot of projects, will be on social media. They'll either be on YouTube, or they'll be, maybe in a reel, or maybe in a story, or mm-hmm. maybe on a Facebook video, however it will be. But the thing that's so important to know as a social media person is that the bottom line is when you do a video, it always gets more views and more likes and more engagement than when you just post a regular post.
Right.
And is that when you're meeting with your clients, is that one of the strategies behind their videos, or do they want it for just their website? Or, what is like one of the biggest strategies that they have? Why when hiring you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's very true that nowadays, like we live in a social media world. And so most of the stuff that I make is for social media, because that's where people are. And so you want to be where the people are, and they're on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. So yeah, most of the stuff I make is for those platforms, and my clients are well aware of that for the most part. Every now and then I get an older client who isn't super well versed in social media etiquette, and I'll say something like, oh, well, like, it should really be this length because this is what people's attention spans are these days. And so I have a little bit of, I by no means am a marketer, but I know basic etiquette and protocol when it comes to where people are at these days and what their attention spans are like. And like kind of what you were saying earlier about not just making a video, but a lot of times, not a lot of times, all of the time, you're hiring me for more than just the ability to create a video, but also like the creative abilities that I have to understand what looks good and like coming up with the ideas. And a lot of times people will come to me and say, hey, I want a video for such and such, but I have no idea about anything or what it should even be. And after like 2 minutes of talking to them, I already have like this genius idea in my head. And so that's also what you're hiring filmmakers and video production specialists for, is more than just technical knowledge, but also the fact that we are artists. So, yeah.
You know, one of the things I think I had shared this with you before, and probably with my audience before, because it's something that always will stick out in my head, is during one of the Super Bowls, there was a commercial. And believe it or not, it was a Subaru commercial. But the bottom line is you really don't know that till the end. However, what you see, it's a very short commercial. It's less than a minute. And it starts out with a car being totaled, basically crashed. And the emergency workers turn to one another and they go, they lived. And then it flashes to another scene and it's at the tow wrecking place. The tow car guy is bringing it to the junkyard. And he says to the junkyard guy, they lived. And then the final scene, which is the most touching scene, is that a whole family is coming out of their house and there's a brand new Subaru there. And the guy goes, we lived. And it's like, and you don't, until you see that car, it's until you see that it's a Subaru, that's when you finally know that it is a Subaru commercial. It wasn't about how many horsepowers the engine had or how thick the tires were or whatever, but it was a story that we could all connect with, because who doesn't want their family safe? Because safety is everything. And it's like, I always think about that is when you're out there, is like, what story, as a filmmaker, you could film a lot of people, and it could be just, every day, but do you want to be known as that videographer that catches the moment that tells a story? Or do you want to be known as someone who, I just do videos, you tell me what you want and I'll give you what you want?
Yeah. I want to be known as an artist. Yeah. I want to be known as someone who has the ability to captivate hearts and be able to tell a story that's more than a product or more than, I like to say it's like 90% story and 10% product. Like, especially when it comes to actually trying to like sell something, I think story is way more important than the practical like marketing side of things, because you don't grab the attention of someone by spewing like statistics at them. You capture them by telling a story and engaging their hearts. So I want to be known as an artist, and I want to be known as a creative, and I want my medium for those things to be video.
Yeah. And I'm sure this is important to you, though you want to be creative and you want to show your artistic side, you have to be careful that you always keep the branding in mind and what the customer's objective is. I don't know if I don't know how many Super Bowls you have watched, but there was an epic fail commercial out there. It caught my attention because I still think of it to this day. But the epic fail was the baby puppy monkey. Okay. And this baby walking around with it was puppy with baby, and it looked like a monkey. And
I totally am remembering this now. Yeah.
Most people were horrified by it. I thought it, and I remember sitting in here with a group of people, and I think it was during, I forget which Super Bowl it was. I want to say Patriots, but I remember everybody in the room at my Super Bowl party, they had their jaws dropping that was just too weird. But guess what the epic fail was?
What's that?
Nobody knew what the commercial was
what
for.
It was for, yeah.
It was a Mountain Dew commercial. I know that because I actually had to look it up to find out. And it's so, again, you have a very important role because, I mean, anybody who shoots video knows that, like I said, I can go out today and take my phone and shoot a video and it would be probably very bad. And then fast forward, I could catch a moment and add it with a bunch of other stuff to tell a story that could be the most, you know, and I just think it's so important for, you know, a videographer to stay true to themselves, but also try to bring out something that will, I don't know, that will capture the audience without scaring them away.
Right. I'd say one of my favorite moments when working with a client who comes to me with maybe like a basic idea or at least like an end goal for something, I'll take that idea and, you know, it's usually like a really basic idea of like, this is kind of what I want the video to be about. And I was thinking maybe we could do this, you know, and then I'll listen to that. I'll listen to their side of their angle towards it or whatever you want to call that. And I'll say, okay, we could do that. But how about one up better? How about this? Da, 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 da. I tell them my ideas and then they go, oh, that's so much better. Like, yeah, I love that. Let's do that. Because I'm still hearing them. I'm still listening to their thoughts and ideas because I know they're not stupid. Like they have like ideas and most people have somewhat of a sense of creativity. But yeah, it's that moment of, oh yeah, that's so good. Let's do that. You're right. That is like way better. So I live for those moments.
Yeah. I'm going to like sort of switch subjects a little bit here, but you know, you're fairly young, way younger than me. I'm old enough to be your mother.
Yeah.
But anyways, interestingly enough is that you decided instead of, you know, we could all go out there and work a job, but you decided to venture out and go on your own. And so I have a lot of people in my audience that have not gone on their own yet that are thinking of it. They're in corporate. They want to, you know, they're tired of climbing that ladder or they're new to their business. What would you say so far in your experience? What is the biggest challenge that you have with being in business for yourself?
I think when you're first starting out on your own, for the most part, you have experience already. I would hope that you would gain experience at least under someone's wing and guidance a little bit before venturing out on your own, just to gain that practical knowledge of business life and stuff like that. So once you have that basic knowledge, venturing out on your own, I'd say like the hardest, or for me at least, the most challenging part is not to get discouraged by lack of clients when you're first starting, when you're trying to build your brand or even just building a clientele. Not to get discouraged by low numbers, but just sticking with it, because eventually it takes a while, but eventually you do gain more clients and you gain a reputation. Just like with any brand, when you're first starting out, people don't recognize your name, people don't know who you are. So you kind of have to prove yourself. You kind of have to show that you are like worthy and a valuable asset. And once you do that, you're good. You're golden.
Yeah. And that probably is everybody's first challenge. Right. And, you know, what I always say to people is you just got to keep that funnel going. And the only way you're going to keep that funnel going is by always continually to make sure you're talking about your business, you're sharing about your business. And of course, word of mouth, eventually the word of mouth will come too. It's like, you know, I know a person who did a project for this person and we're awesome.
That's where most of my clients actually come from, is just, oh, I worked with this person. You should totally hit them up. And it's just, a lot of word of mouth.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that, I mean, you know, I have a husband who is a plumbing contractor and most of his stuff comes from word of mouth or referrals. Right. So, and we all have to eventually market at some time, but most of it is the best clients I've had were by people who have gave me a warm referral. So the last thing is what if there was one thing you could tell someone, one major tip that would probably cut the learning curve, what is one thing that you would tell someone to do when starting out their own business?
It sounds kind of like cheesy and cliche, I guess, but it's true. Like, just go for it, because you can spend like most of your life or all of your life, or actually never even get to the point of pulling the trigger and going for it. I remember when I was like thinking of branching out and just doing my own thing instead of joining a company as like a video editor or whatever, I had a conversation with my sister, and she said, she heard me rant for like a long time about like, oh, all these people, like, yeah, just, it's so corporate and this and that. And like, I just don't really want to do it, but like, what are you going to do? And at the end of the conversation, I was like, maybe I should just do my own thing. And like, she was silent the whole time. And then all of a sudden she's like, yeah, that's what you need to do. She goes, you would never be able to do what you are good at. You're never going to be able to like truly fulfill your creative desires and like passions by working under like the corporate, under some random like business. So she's like, yeah, that's what you need to do. That's what's going to bring you life. And if working for a company, under corporate management, whatever, if that brings you life, like, then do that. Not everyone needs to branch out and do their own thing. I think doing whatever brings you the greatest amount of pleasure and fulfillment in life, go for that. So if it is starting your own business, then do it. But if it's not, don't just do it because that's what people tell you to do.
Or because it's the trendy thing to do.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Well, I want to just thank you so much for coming on. And if there's, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
So I do have a website. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. So all of my usernames are Common Kindred Productions. So you can find me pretty much any platform, Instagram, Facebook, my website, and YouTube actually as well. So yeah, just look me up under that title.
Awesome. And if you are one of those people that are listening to this right now and you've been thinking about doing a video or doing a short snippet or whatever, I highly recommend JoEllen, and you can definitely get in contact with her. I'm going to put all her contact information in the bottom of all my posts. And so this way you can just, have a consult with her and see what are some of the angles you can take for your business.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Well, thank you for being on my show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad I finally got around to doing it.
Yeah, and until next week, I'll see you all soon.
Thanks for listening to the Biz Gone Social podcast. Find us on Instagram at Biz Gone Social for extra tips. Check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, stay social.